Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Nancy Mace goes full savage, full mama bear mode, and just unloads on this terrible anti-parent woke teacher. Play the clip.
Does a state superintendent of education have a role in defining curriculum for students of that state? Yes or no?
So that's more than a yes or no question?
Yes or no? Does a state superintendent of education have a role in determining the curriculum of states?
That's not how curriculum works.
What about the school board? So do school boards have a say in shaping curriculum in states' education?
That's not how curriculum
What
writing
about
works.
parents? Do parents have a say in curriculum in their kids' education?
I
Yes
wrote
or
a
no?
curriculum. That's not how it works.
Okay,
how
so
the
we don't
approval
want to
process
play
works.
yes or no. So I
Well,
believe
because
that...
it's not a yes or no
okay,
question.
it is a yes or no question in a democracy and in determining the outcome of education. As a daughter of a retired school teacher, as a parent, single working mom of 2 kids, I do believe that myself and their dad have a say in the outcome and the curriculum of my kids' education. Ms. Hull, thank you for being here today, and thank you for bringing your experience as a librarian with us this afternoon. So are the only libraries in the United States school libraries? Are those the only public libraries in the U.S.?
No.
So are there libraries that maybe municipalities, states, or counties also create in different states across the country?
I believe they're known as public libraries.
Right. So is there anything that prevents a student from going to a public library if they can't find a book they want to read in their school library?
Transportation would be the main one.
Okay. So if are they allowed to go to a public library, or are students allowed to go to a public library or only school libraries if they have transportation?
That would be a parent decision.
Okay. Are there other places where students or parents can get books? Maybe a bookstore, like a physical bookstore, like a Barnes & Noble bookstore.
Perhaps if they had the financial means.
Can parents buy books online, like from Amazon?
Perhaps if they have the financial means.
Can you go to a place like Goodwill and buy a book for less than $1 or maybe even get it for free?
Goodwill's selection is certainly not as expansive as those curated
Or
by
other
librarians.
bookstores. So what you're saying is there's more than one opportunity for a student or a parent to get a book to their kid's liking. It's not just, they're not only limited to public schools, they can get a book from a lot of different places, even a coffee shop if they wanted to, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned in your testimony earlier today about students having safe spaces to read. Is a classroom a safe space to read?
I believe that depends on the classroom.
Okay, what about school libraries? Are school libraries safe places to read?
I also think that depends on the individual library space.
Are kids safe to read when they're at home?
Not always.
Are most kids, we think, safe to read while they're at home?
I do not have the numbers to represent that
Okay.
answer.
And then I had some additional questions. If a student wanted to get an LGBTQ book that wasn't in a school library, could they get it at a public library? Would it be available in a public library?
If they had the transportation and means to get
But would a LGBTQ book be available in a public library?
Of course.
Okay, or a book of any other nature.
There are 3 deeply disturbing things going on in this video. And it's not because of what Nancy Mace says. It's how the first witness answered the questions. It's what's going on in our public schools and the truth about the whole thing. Okay, so let's start off with the truth about the whole thing. The left has managed to march through the institutions and captured our systems, particularly our highly localized and decentralized education system. It is quite literally a parasite that has gone into its host body, and now the host is bloated, it's ridiculous, and it must cut out this parasite. Or else the host is going, to stop living. That's what's happening in our education system. So that's the overarching theme. But I want to start off with this first witness here. This first witness is everything wrong with leftists. Hey y'all, I just wanted to give a shout out to my friends over at Colonial Metals Group. Their experts understand exactly what they're doing with gold, silver, and other precious metals, unlike our current leadership, which is giving us rampant inflation, terrible Federal Reserve policies, a president that doesn't know what planet he's on, and of course, an out-of-control Congress that won't stop spending. We have to figure out ways to keep our wealth safe. And the best way to do that is to go over to my friends at Colonial Metals Group, because their experts can help you diversify your portfolio, and they've got an amazing offer for first-time accounts. Free gold, silver IRA accounts, insured storage for 5 years, up to $7,500 in silver delivered directly to your home, and a safe to keep all that stuff in. So go over regardless and see what they can do for you and protect your wealth and your future today. Now, back to regularly scheduled programming. Smug, arrogant, knows better than you, and doesn't understand her place. Her place is to answer to Congress right now. When you are called before Congress, just answer their questions as simply as you can. Elaborate when you can elaborate, but when you are given a yes or no question, just follow the train of logic. And leftists refuse to do that because they know if they follow trains of logic, they will lose. It happens every single time with these people because it's an attempt to protect their ego and to protect utopia. That's what they want. They want utopia, but they don't know how to get there. And the way they get there is, the way they think they can get there is by tearing down the institutions that are in front of them. Instead of strengthening the good and destroying the bad, they want to set fire to the whole building. That's what these leftists want. And this one in particular refuses to answer any of Nancy Mace's questions properly because she knows if she does, it will lead to a line of questioning that will force her to admit, I'm probably wrong on this. So, it now comes to the third issue here. If schools are to be secular, and they should, they must also be non-sexual. We do not need to teach sex to children in schools. As a matter of fact, that's probably the worst way children can learn about the whole subject. If we are to be non-secular, we should also be non-sexual. I think those are two sides of the same coin here. Because we are a massive nation, for instance. We don't need to have times of prayer for students because there's a good chance that there's a Jew, a Muslim, a Hindu, someone with a different religion other than, Christianity. And I come from a very Christian background. I'm a professing but terrible Christian. I am not good at following his teachings at all. But I also have to recognize that in a country as big as mine, in the melting pot that we have, it is okay to have different religions. But therefore, since we have so many, and it's okay to have them, we cannot push one religion upon everyone. Therefore, since sexuality is so massive and so bizarre nowadays, it's natural, but it's also bizarre. It's a weird dichotomy. We need to keep this sexuality out of the schools as much as possible. We should not teach this. We should not push anything. We should simply be there to give them an education. Why is this so hard to grasp for people? Keep sex out of the schools. No LGBT stuff. No basic sex stuff. Nothing. Why is this hard to understand, and why do people not want to do this? Well, it goes back to the long march through the institutions. It all comes back to the overarching issue that the left wants to take full and total control, and if they can't, they will burn it down and reign amongst the ashes. That's what they want. They want to push the envelope as far as they can. Unfortunately, they push the pendulum so far that they can't hold it back. It's starting to swing. It's going to be interesting to see where it ends up. But ultimately, the left is trying to push stuff onto children, impressionable children, because they feel it's necessary to reach utopia. It is absurd, it is insane, and it is ultimately destructive. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.